All right, welcome to Talking Investing with Tom and George.
Usually you say I'm Tom and I say I'm George and we're all... Sorry, I won't say
I'm Tom.
I'm George and we're all... Right? Is that normally how it goes?
Yeah, but not today.
Oh, nice. A good day. Good pump.
Today was a good day. Today was a fine day. And
What ended up happening? What ended up happening?
We're at 37.9 right now.
Woohoo! Might have missed the run. I got out. I might have missed it. I might have been wrong.
Well, you could still do the thing you were talking about.
I'm just nervous with the world right now. I guess I'm just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess I'm one of those people that just believe the world is a little broken right now.
Well, I think you're not alone.
Just so you know, I did not get a notification yet.
Really?
I did not get a notification, so I don't know if we're really live, Tom.
No, we're live.
Oh, really?
Is anybody out there? Where's
Is
the
anybody?
chat?
Hang on. I don't see it. Live now. There's 3 people watching. Okay, now I can see it. Now I believe it. I don't want to give all the good stuff until we get going.
We'll wait. We'll chat for a few minutes here.
So okay, should we tell people what's going on in our lives? You think people want to know about that? Okay, how about you just get right into it? Where the hell is Bitcoin going?
Yeah, good question. I don't think that's where we start.
You don't think that's where we start?
I gotta switch to my proper lines.
So you don't. So I think that's the honest truth. I don't think anybody really truly knows, because here's the one thing that everybody does not. I did not get a notification. No. Thank God I'm home. Had to go up to freaking Atlanta, and I'm from Florida, and it's always a fun trip. Only gotten one fight, so that was good. That was really good. Only one fight's good.
I feel like that one's not for sharing.
Just so you know, if a baby's crying in a restaurant, it's not okay for you to cry. And I guess I shouldn't have cried.
I think you were the last person to figure that out. So, all right. Anyway, let's recap while we're waiting for some people to get in. George, you did not watch today. You've been eyes off a little bit.
I believe that there's going to be a lot of pain in Bitcoin world here for a little bit. That's what I believe. I could be wrong.
A lot more pain, because we've been in pain.
Yeah, I don't think it's over with. I think you always talk about your line of support at 29,700, and I don't think we got there, and I think it's still in play.
We didn't get there, so we'll look at that. We'll look at the downside and the upside, but I think we should at least celebrate.
Yeah, people are making money now.
Yeah.
What's MIGI?
That went ballistic today, so we'll talk about that one.
That's nice to see, huh?
I added that to the big board.
You know what
is
crazy?
Discord asked me to do that, and then sure enough, I did, and it went off. So whoever that was, I know you had a good day.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a real good day. Nice to see a quarter. Haven't seen a quarter in a long time. You know, 25%er.
Yeah, that's really, honestly, I'll complain. I'll get my complaining out of the way. The action on the Bitcoin miners should have been much better today. This was really good. It's a Friday. It's an across-the-board green day. So I think everybody can be happy. But honestly, it should have been, I think it should have been at least double what it was. And I'll explain my line of reasoning.
Explain it.
Explain.
You have reasoning? Hey, everybody.
That's my problem, George. I try to use a line of reasoning with all this Bitcoin stuff.
Just
so.
tell me, how about we don't talk about Bitcoin for a second, and we talk about one other stock that I'm really confused about.
Okay.
Tesla.
Oh, boy. I thought I wasn't allowed to talk about Tesla.
Well, you could talk about that. This is good. This is good stuff to talk about with Tesla.
Well, I think let's take a look. I feel like they recovered a little bit today, but maybe let's see where they ended up.
Because, I mean, I love Tesla.
They ended
Belgium in the house.
So they got down to 792 today.
Wow.
But they ended up 2% at 846. So that leaves them at around $850 billion market cap. So I did another video you guys can watch. I went through, I don't usually look at the big caps, but I went through, there's 6 pure play large cap EV companies. Tesla being by far the biggest. It's bigger than all the rest of them put together. And they all got destroyed yesterday. Tesla was down 11% yesterday. NIO hit its 52-week low yesterday. It hit it again today. Rivian, as we discussed months ago on this channel, has crashed massively. That hit another 52-week low.
Yeah, but do you think it's going to come back?
Well, I feel like I'm not qualified to see. It ended up 6% today. It hit, look at that. It got to exactly $50.00. This was at $180 a few months ago. So this was wildly overpriced. In my mind, at $50 billion market cap, it's still overpriced. But that depends on what you compare it to. It's not overpriced compared to Tesla.
Do you think that's why they're at 50 billion? Because of Tesla?
Lucid Motors is at a similar spot. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I will tell you, Ford and General Motors are up radically in market cap, and they're still way behind Tesla, but it's because all these other companies have a giant market cap, and their EV presence is as big, probably going to end up being bigger than most of the rest of these companies. So they've been the beneficiary of that. Just looking at Ford, I mean, their 52-week range, they were $10. And I know just before that, about a year and a half ago, George, we were trading these guys at $6.
Yeah. I love Ford. But at least Ford you can understand because they've been around forever.
Well, they've been around forever. You can see their financial statements. They mint money, and they've invested a massive amount in EV, so we'll see how they do. I think they're going to get General Motors and Ford are going to get their fair share of the market, and Volkswagen is a leader in EV. Obviously, Tesla's the leader in the EV sector.
No, I did not hear. Did you hear about, thank you, not financial advice, did you hear Arizona is introducing a bill to make Bitcoin legal tender? I did
really?
not.
No, I did not know that.
I think that Tesla. I own a company called EmergencyWaterRemoval.com, and we got in an accident yesterday with a Tesla and a box truck. A freaking $60,000 box truck. We rear-ended Tesla. We're in Atlanta. We're on 85 or 75. I don't know. The Tesla is going 8 miles an hour, and it's in the lane where it's 70 miles an hour. The Tesla's going 8 miles an hour. And we asked the guy, I go, gentlemen, what happened? And he goes, oh, well, a car came into my lane, and it was not moving, and then it got back out of my lane, and the Tesla didn't start going again, so I had to jump on it to get it to go. But he never jumped on it to get it to go. So I think we figured out what the problem is with Tesla, and the problem is with Tesla is the rear end accidents. So right now we're at fault for the accidents. So I don't believe we should be, and it will either go one that I'm wrong and that there's not a lot of rear end accidents with Tesla, meaning people are hitting Teslas in the rear end because they're going at the right speed, but I have a feeling that I'm going to be right and they're going to make me go away real quick.
Well, and as a matter of coincidence, then at lunch today we saw a Tesla get in an accident. So, I don't know. 2 is not a big enough sample group.
No, but you know what's really funny? He says 2's not a big enough sample. What's really funny is that 2's not, but it ends up being the right amount. Because once you see, it's not ever a quinkadink, it always ends up being right.
Tom
It looks like we're going to have our worst stream ever. What happened? What'd you say?
No car cam for you this week, George, said Tom.
No,
Shaw.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe the message didn't get out, or
I think Tesla is the future, by the way, Mark. I think I'll say EVs are the future, but I just think we have a long way to go there. I just wish he would have started a insurance company, because if Elon Musk starts an insurance company, I will buy a Tesla. Because I heard the insurance rates are going to be stupid cheap.
I'll wait for it. That's probably coming.
Yeah.
They're doing everything else.
So anyways, let's go into Bitcoin and figure out what's going on with the world.
All right. Yeah. So I was saying earlier, I think we got gypped today. So I don't want to complain on a green day because, I think you guys can see the big board here. Everything's green. Everything was way up. So this was good results. This was a great day, but I'm going to show you how I'm looking at it, and I think everything should have done just about double what it did, in my opinion, today. So this was a good day, and I'll take it, but it should have been much better for the Bitcoin miners, in my opinion.
You think they should have doubled?
Well, I'll show you. I got 2 lines on my chart. This orange line is the close on Wednesday, the market close. So from the close on Wednesday, the yellow line is the close on Thursday, which was yesterday. So if you guys remember, we got destroyed yesterday. Everything was down more. Everything was down more yesterday. Well, not everything, but almost everything was down more yesterday than it was up today. So we went from this orange line to this yellow line yesterday. But today, we went from this yellow line, we went right through this orange line and way past it. Bitcoin's up 6.65% since the close of the equity markets yesterday. So, these things being up 6, 7, 8, 9% when Bitcoin's up almost 7% isn't right. It should be double that. So just from that perspective, I feel like we got a little bit ripped off, and that's what's been happening. This is like seepage. We keep trading up and down inside of a range, and the further we go, we keep losing a little bit of ground with the miners. So at some point, these need to catch up because, it's leaving them very, very undervalued, in my opinion. So, like, Bitfarms was up 8% today. It's at $3.35. I mean, Bitfarms was at almost $10 a couple months ago. So, and the same thing is, all of these are still, after a giant green day, pretty close to their, I won't say their all-time lows, but their 180-day lows, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I think we temporarily lost George. So one of the ones I want to talk about, are you guys in Core Scientific? I know I've been getting a bunch of questions about that. There's 2 First of all, yesterday DigiHost after hours numbers went wild, and I think a lot of people got freaked out. But it looked like it was just one transaction for 200 shares, and it ended up looking like DigiHost was down like 40% or something like that. So that was not, I guess technically it was true, but it really wasn't true. It rectified itself on the first trade this morning. So and they ended up 7.5%. They were lagging all day long, but they rallied at the end. And you can see, I mean, this is the 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock candle. So we had a very strong finish to the week, to the day and the week. And now we're after hours here, and we're still going up. I mean, we're just under $38,000. By the same token, this candle was on the 26th. So all we are is back to right here. We were there a couple days ago. So that's what I'm saying. You can see we've been trading in a range up and down, but really it's all just sideways for the last several days.
Oh, Mark's calling me out because I said 29,000, so I have to say something. I don't think we're done. And here's why I don't think we're done. Is because is it next week that they're going to release the information on what they're going to plan on doing with crypto? The federal government?
Oh, I think it's from this moment forward.
Yeah, I think so. Here's my biggest thing with Bitcoin right this moment, and we're hoping that changes. I sat and watched. I know that you're gonna find this funny, but I sat and watched the Bitcoin like for an hour and a half the other day and watch all the transactions, right? And very little transactions were over 1 Bitcoin. They were all fractional shares, which is okay, and actually it's very healthy. But the problem was, as soon as somebody drops 10 coins, 20 coins, 30 coins, that's the problem. And that's when we're having this big flux of price. So I'm worried that, this is more manipulated than you can possibly imagine. And because of that, I just think that they have it at a certain range that they want to keep it at right now. And let's be honest, the federal government's doing it too because they haven't approved a true ETF yet. And they know once that is approved, then it's going to take off.
That is a giant thing that lingers out there. And I see somebody asking to talk about CleanSpark. We'll do that next. That true spot ETF is going to be a game changer. So that is looming out there. They've kicked the can down the road 15 times on that.
Yeah.
And, at some point, who knows how long they can stall, but at some point that is going to happen. And that's going to have a dramatic effect on Bitcoin. There's a lot of things waiting to happen. And I know that, George thinks we're going to retest points lower and 29. And the thing is, for all I know, we might, because I'm going to zoom out. Zoom out. There's a lot of lines on here, but here, let's get rid of all those.
Oh, and I'll bet you a cheeseburger too, Mark.
So I'm going to keep zooming.
This is one thing about me.
You bet him a cheeseburger.
I wish I was wrong. I'm never wrong.
So you can see the pressure. This was the high in November, on November 10th. Oh, that brings everything back. But it's just been down, 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 down. Almost maybe starting right here, you could say we've been kind of going sideways. But, we went sideways here and then boom, down. So I guess until it proves that it's done with the downward pressure, it's hard to say that it's over and we're going back up.
And this is what I would say also with Bitcoin overall. Everybody's like, well, it did the head and shoulders. I think that was the best one I've heard. It's done the heads and shoulders. It's done the double cross. It's done remember all these things. But what Bitcoin is doing is something that's never really been done before. And I don't think there's a real accurate read that you can get on it, honestly. I don't think anybody can really say whether it's going to go up or down unless you control a percentage of Bitcoin. Then you can obviously manipulate it. And supposedly, that Michael Saylor was number 3 with the biggest holdings of Bitcoin in his wallet, and supposedly somebody just passed him over in Europe, and I'll just say Europe.
So someone's asking, has holding become a bad strategy for the miners? Swing traders seem to have done quite well. And I mean, it depends what time frame you're looking at. If you've been swing trading, and I do a little bit of this with options. I keep my core positions in the stock, and I do a little bit of this with options, but you know, you're playing with fire also. So yeah, if you timed everything just right, you made a lot more money swing trading these miners. But if your time frame is 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, you know, then I think holding is the way to go. I still think whatever, even if we go down and retest 33,000, which we just hit this week. So it would not be at all unreasonable to think that we could retest that. I don't want to retest that. I'm just saying it's right there. We were just there. Or even if we go down, you know, 29,000, that was the July lows of last year. That was basically the lows of 2021. I just can't see us getting down there. If we do, I can't see us going below, but I've said similar things before, so you never know.
Yeah, to call the bottom, it's just, let's be honest, it's just whatever fear that they want to put into us. That's really what it is.
But to round out that thought, I think whatever happens, wherever we go and whatever we retest, I'm still looking at end of the first quarter, middle of the second quarter. All this should all be straightened out. And we should be back on track going where we should be going. And the Bitcoin miners by then are going to start to have some serious exahash. So a lot of these deliveries are coming in as we speak. You know, 2021, let's face it, all the Bitcoin miners that we covered got themselves somewhere. A lot of them made their way up to 1 exahash. Some others made their way up to 2 exahash. And then I think Marathon and Riot made their way up to 3 exahash. So even after all that whole year of adding machines, the biggest one was 3 exahash. So you're going to have 10 or 15 of these guys, anywhere from bigger to much bigger than that, in 2022. So that's when I think you're really going to start to see the needle move on a lot of these. If everybody can execute their plans. You know, I tend to have more confidence in the companies that have been doing this for a while and have managed their cash and have a plan. A lot of these new companies are all saying, oh, we're going to be at 15 exahash, 25 exahash. But, you know, there's like a $1 or $2 billion in between of equipment that you got to buy. And you got to get in line to buy it. So it's easier said than done.
Well, you got to, and then you also got to develop. You got to do the infrastructure of the building. You know, the power.
You got to make your power deals right. It's.
I'm really interested to see how Marathon. I mean, Marathon, if they do what they're going to do, they're going to be a monstrosity.
Marathon.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Marathon's set to be... Marathon is at 3+ right now, and they're now have purchase orders in to get themselves to 23 exahash. I think that goes into 2023. So they were at 13.3, I think they were saying, or 13.2 they were saying for a long time. And then they went out and bought 10 more exahash worth of machines. So they hope to be in the 20s. I will say, as I've been looking at their pool, I'm a little bit nervous for them in the month of January.
Oh, why? How many?
It seems like their pool was lagging. It looked like they were not going to beat December.
Oh my goodness.
So
they're going to get freaking destroyed.
And the problem is the whole game has changed because Core Scientific is now under its stock ticker, and Those guys are at 6.6 exahash. They mined 1,000 Bitcoin in December, so they're likely to put out a number similar to that in January. You know, if they mined 1,000 or 1,100 Bitcoin, that's where the new bar is going to be set. So if Marathon did 480 last month and they do 440 in January, they might take a hit for that. They got to get that. They got to get their exahash up so that their mining pool is more competitive.
Well, and not only that, is their pool could have some outside people in it too, correct?
Yeah, I don't know to what extent, but some of those could be hosting that they're doing. Not hosting, but participate, other participants in their pool, because
could it just be bad luck?
It's too soon to tell. And that's why I'm saying the first quarter to the middle of the second quarter has to shake out, and we're going to know the answer, because by then they should be at double the exahash or more. And once their pool is at 6 or 7 or 8 exahash, if it's not getting its fair share, then that means their machines are not online, or some other thing is going on that we should be disturbed about.
I'm looking at their pool right now online.
Yep.
And I'm going to block mined and monthly. And so this is a monthly total right here, the 436 for the month.
The total what?
Monthly, even though they don't know how to spell monthly.
Uh-huh.
You would think that they could spell the word monthly correct, but they did not. I'll put what they call it, monthly.
Monthly, yeah, that's
monthly. They say so far this month they have mined 436.84341464
Bitcoin.
Yep.
Yeah, that's less than last month. I mean,
what did they do last month?
It's the 28th, 480 something.
And we only got the weekend.
Right. So
we got 1, 2, 3 more days.
I don't know. It looked to me.
Oh my goodness, they're doing 31 a day, 31 almost. So they're going to be right there, right in line. But you expected them to be bigger?
The thing is, yeah, they should have been bigger. Their exahash has gone up. Their pool should mine more every month. And if you look day to day, there's days where they get 5 Bitcoin and there's days where they get none. So
that's what I meant about, do you think they're just having bad luck?
Well, luck is a factor in this. The bigger your pool is, the less of a factor luck should be, which is why I'm saying they've got to get, when they're at 23 exahash, they're going to be plus or minus, 10% variance is about as bad as it gets. But right now, it's, I've seen days where they did 5 and then the next day they did 0. So there should never be a day where they get 0.
They have the amount of money. I don't know where they're using, the price and all that, but they have the amount of money, 16.5 million so far this month.
JM is saying US. Marathon was down a couple of days in January. So, maybe that's a part of the
reason. There they go again. You know what? And I think that's a really good story for these other new guys too. I mean, look at, this is a company that's probably one of the oldest, right? I mean, not Riot's older, isn't it?
Which one? Marathon?
Yeah.
Marathon, I mean, these guys are all newer to this than you think. Marathon, let's put it this way. In January of 2021, 1 year ago, they had 0.2 exahash. So it was still called Marathon Patent Group at that point. They were just making their way into Bitcoin. Now, in October, November, December of 2020, I think they made a lot of big deals to line up miners, which is how they got ahead of the game. But they really weren't mining anything yet. So even Marathon is very new. And I think that's one of the reasons they're having so many bumps in the road. I mean, this is growing pains and learning curve. They've been doing this for a year. Hut's been doing this for 3 or 4 years now. So, it's a big difference. CleanSpark is fairly new. They just started in last, December, meaning 13 months ago. So
And now I have a question. Do these other guys mine in their own pools, or do they all join together like other pools and stuff like that, or don't you know?
Marathon's the only one that has their own pool out of everybody on this big board. I think most people are in the Foundry USA pool, which is now the biggest pool out there.
Is that the one from Rochester?
I don't know if that's those guys. They're the financing guys. I'm not sure if they're involved in that pool or not. So, Logan says, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo. I just want also people to know I am 100% for Bitcoin. And I think, again, I think Mark was teasing me there a little bit for the 29. And he said we're C50 by the end of this year. I still think we're C50, you know, way before that. And I think we're definitely going to set a new high this year. Marathon runs off of a power plant. It's not connected to the grid. Well, that's good. Are they in our fellow neighbors? Are they about up there? About?
Marathon is not Canadian.
No. Are they in the Navajo?
Our friends to the north are Hut and Hive and Bitfarms.
Bitfarm, yeah.
So, and Canada is, you know, they have a massive competitive
Did you see
advantage.
that? That is an interesting note. DMG blockchain made the Marathon pool.
Oh, they're in the pool?
No, they made it.
They made the pool.
Right.
Well, if they made the pool, I gotta believe they're participating in it. But there's another one. DMG is really just starting to get online mining. They didn't.
But you know what's crazy then is that
really
means
that most of the year.
fee. That means those fees are going to them. Because I was looking at the fees and I couldn't believe how much fees there were.
Everybody, please do us a favor and hit the like button if you would. And if you're not subscribed, you can subscribe to the channel. So that's my public service announcement. And my toy.
Now,
hold on.
You have a new toy?
We also have a Discord. There's a link in the description. I know a lot of you guys are already in the Discord, but I'm using my Stream Deck.
I was teasing people in the Discord about, we were talking about, and you kind of touched on it earlier, about some of these companies in this new world of mining that we thought were going to have to raise money so that they could buy their machines.
Oh, almost all of these guys are going to have to raise a lot of money to buy their machines.
So it's kind of important to know, like, how much cash they have on, because we've seen the stock get taken out when they go to raise money.
Right. I think that all of the, you know, Irene, Wolf, Greenidge, Cypher, who else? I was just reading another one. No, SDIG. All these guys are going to have to do a money raise. And I don't, you know, they're starting to, some of the more mature companies are starting to be able to borrow money, but I don't think any of those companies I just listed are going to be able to borrow money. And even if they did, I don't know that they want to pay that kind of interest. It's going to be $20, $30, $40 million of interest a year. So I think they're all going to have to raise capital. They just need to be very strategic about it. They can't be raising capital before they've got, and before they're mining, before they're hodling. You know, it's a lot easier for somebody like Hut, who's got 5,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet, all self-mined, to go out and ask for a loan. And a sufficient market cap enough that even if they need a couple of bucks, they can do some dilution. I think these companies are trying to get the and I'm calling them mature, but some of them are only 1 or 2 years old. But, you know, the original 5 or 6 companies are trying to be very judicious in not liquidating their stockholders, or not diluting their stockholders, because they did a lot of that over time. So I know CleanSpark has jumped through hoops. They have a $500 million shelf offering, and they're not using it. So I think they used about $100 million of it right away, or in the first couple of months.
Who's that? Bitfarms?
CleanSpark.
CleanSpark. Okay.
Well, Bitfarms has one too.
I
But
thought they did too. Yeah.
yeah, and Riot had one, but CleanSpark, they stopped using theirs. They started selling their Bitcoin just so they wouldn't have to dilute their shareholders. So, and a lot of people didn't like that either. So you can't win for losing sometimes. It's got to be one or the other.
I'm just reading back on the notes, and I'm sorry. It was saying the live was 30 minutes yet, so that premiere kind of messed up everybody. They didn't know when we were starting.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, that makes more sense now. I thought I farted on air. Oh,
so
sorry.
what we're trying to do, and this is our first time trying to do this. I did a video, and we're trying to premiere it in a half an hour. So straight from the live stream to the premiere video is what we were thinking, but we're still trying to figure this stuff out. We're still a little bit new at the technology. So
somebody mentioned this, and Tom didn't know about Discord either. Nate.
Oh,
what is a Discord? What is Discord? Tom, you want to tell everybody what Discord is?
We have a Discord server, so it's basically a server where people can join and chat, and you have a running conversation. So,
it's discord.com is the name, and you spelled it wrong. Just, it's cord, C-O-R-D. Discord, like cord on a telephone, .com. And what's so cool about it is that it's a great look at when we're in nervous territory, it's a very good calming mechanism that everybody understands that, we're in this fight. We're in this fight for a few months, unfortunately, a few more months. We thought the fight would be over with, but they just come back and kick you in the nuts again. I'm sorry. and then here we are today where we're at. Which pool is Hive in? Do you know? Is it the same pool as Hut and Bitfarm? Hive is the one who also mines Ethereum, takes payments from their pools for those in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin are under 3K coins.
So Hive actually takes the payment in Ethereum. Hut mines, they got those 10,000 GPUs from NVIDIA, and they mine Ethereum, but they get paid in Bitcoin. But Hive is actually holding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And of course, at some point, and it keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and I heard a rumor that it's going to get delayed again, but at some point, Ethereum is going to go to proof of stake. So there will be no more mining.
Isn't that amazing? It got delayed again. I hate when stuff like that happens. Because that
who
shows
only knows.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I scratched my head when Hut 8 bought 10,000 GPUs, but now I think I see exactly what they're doing over there with those. They've already paid for themselves, and I think they felt like this switch to proof of stake was going to take 6 months or 10 months longer than everybody was talking about. So in the meantime, and I think I see what their plan is to do after that. So Hut has some very interesting stuff coming up, and if all goes as planned, we actually have an interview on the channel with Hut 8 next week. So I'm looking forward to that.
Are you guys buying? If I had more money, open position in DigiHost, MicroStrategy, and expand a little into Bitfarms. Are you buying, Tom? I just want everybody to know I got nervous the other day and sold everything, and I'm probably going to be out most of February.
George is spooked. That's just been too much volatility. He's going to sit on the sidelines for a month.
But I can tell you one thing. I don't think the stock market's going to crash anymore, by the way. It might go down maybe 5 or 6%, but I don't think we're going to see like a 20 or a 25% correction in the stock market. It has never happened on an election year.
Oh, that's interesting.
Not financial advice, by the way. Where is he? He didn't write.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the stock market is going to do, and I don't know if Bitcoin's going to keep following the NASDAQ and big tech like it's been doing. It doesn't make any sense that it is, and I'm just waiting for the moment that they break away from each other. In my opinion, that is going to happen at some point in 2022. It hasn't happened yet, so I'm still waiting.
I have a very interesting theory on Bitcoin overall, and my theory has been 100% right, and that's the reason why I'm getting like the big kahunas. And I honestly don't think we've hit the bottom yet. And I know somebody said you're going to miss out on the gains. I'll be back in before those gains happen. And the next time I get in, I'm going to turn that account off and never touch it again until like 2 or 3 years, because I'm just going to go in on stocks and leave it alone and not think about it. Buy and hold. And like when I say buy and hold, I mean like, 3-4 years. Because Kathy Woods, when did she say? She gave a prediction by the year 2030. Just, we were out to dinner the other night. She gave a prediction. We're talking. We gave a prediction. She wasn't there, of course. But anyways.
Yeah, she was at dinner and you were at dinner. Just not
we were both at dinner at the same time. So I was eavesdropping, and she's like, $1 million. And then Tom brought up an interesting point. Go, Tom. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I mean, at first blush, when you hear Bitcoin $1 million, and she was predicting that in 2030. So that sounds like insanity, but if you do the math, that would actually be the worst 8 years Bitcoin ever had if it ends up at $1 million. And at some point, the rate at which Bitcoin is going up is going to slow down. But when you put it in that perspective, it's not out of the question.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Thank you for saying that's a great content. I try to behave when I'm doing this, so because I drink maple syrup for breakfast, Mark, just so you know. Do you don't know? You just think most people that are mining the pools are in that American whatever that complies?
The Foundry USA is the biggest pool, and I'm guessing they're all in that. I know there's a Luxor pool that Hut has some of their machines in also, and a few other companies may as well, but I think those are the main. It's really the Foundry USA is the big dog. So I'm reading, this is not financial advice, said that Dave Portnoy just bought $1 million of Bitcoin.
Well, that actually, to me, is not a very good endorsement, by the way, just so you know. That kind of means that he's betting and gambling again, that he's gambling that's going to go up. You know what's funny is these guys never tell you when they sell. That's what kind of like irked me with Elon Musk, is when he did that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If Portnoy's going to buy those and hold them, he made a great decision. But
right.
It still could go down before it goes up. And somebody said, Nate, yes, you're right. She had said a while back 500,000 by 2025, and she's still sticking to that. She's just up in the ante and saying it'll be 1 million by 2030. So, for whatever that's worth, Kathy Woods says a lot of stuff. So,
Mark, you're mining Ethereum, and it is HNT. Is that Hint, or was that other one we looked at, Tom? HNT, the coin. Hint.
I don't remember looking at that one.
What's HNT? It's a coin. I don't remember. How's that going? Are you just doing the what are those things called? The video card mining, where you use the 3080s or the 3090s. Who is the cheapest to make one Bitcoin? That's an interesting one, Tom. Who is the cheapest?
I'm going to do a video on that because that is the most complicated question ever. And I've got a lot of numbers put together. There's different answers to that question because all these guys have different business models. So it depends what you mean. If you're just talking straight, direct, energy is the main cost, right? You're running the machines, you're paying for energy. So that is the most direct cost. And there's several of these guys that are down in the 2.5 cents per kilowatt or whatever it is. A a lot of these guys claim they're paying $4,000 a Bitcoin, $6,000 a Bitcoin. Hut said they're with their GPUs mining Ethereum and converting it, they're getting Bitcoins for $3,000 a Bitcoin. But that's just one part of the cost. That's the energy part of the cost. So everybody has different models. Like some of these guys host their own machines, so they don't have any hosting costs that they have to pay to somebody else, but they got to pay to run the business of hosting their machines. So, and a lot of times in conjunction with that, they'll have a hosting business that generates other revenue. So it gets really complicated. Everybody's business model is very different on this group. It's amazing. You know, it feels like they're all just Bitcoin miners, but there's only, you know, everybody has taken a different approach. Some people are taking the approach of buying and owning the energy, so they don't have to try and make deals over time and be subject to not having the energy capacity, while others are just leasing energy. So there's a lot of different variables. But I will tell you this, I haven't found any of these guys yet that aren't making an unbelievable gross profit. And this is the other thing, their financial statements get extremely confusing because there's 5 or 6 different things going on. Because of the accounting rules with Bitcoin, it gets wild. So what I try to look at is income from operations. Forget the gains and losses on the sale of any cryptocurrencies or any mark-to-markets they've had to do because Bitcoin has gone down. I just look at what are they making from mining Bitcoin, because ultimately they'll hold their Bitcoin and sell them for a lot more money than any of this. So I don't care about the fluctuation in the price of Bitcoin. I like to see how many Bitcoin did they mine, how efficient were they, and you know, what money did they make. You know, you look at overhead. All these guys should have similar overhead numbers, you would think, but they vary drastically. And a lot of that is non-cash payroll compensation. So I know a lot of you guys, a lot of everybody does not like that. A lot of these companies give big bonuses to management and employees. So that, you know, that racks up your costs.
That'd be interesting. With Ethereum, I mean, I'm hearing rumors that Ethereum, I'm an XRP guy. I'm an XRP lover, just so you guys know. My goal was to be a top 1% holder, and then I moved it from 1% to the top 1/10 of 1% holder of an XRP. I have not bought any yet. I mean, I have a whole bunch right now, but I haven't bought any since this dip at 60. I think it's going to 45, just so you guys know. Don't know why I think that. Don't ask me why I think it. I don't know why I think it. I just do. Nate's been in cash. He starts dibbling into Bitfarms. Tom loves his Bitfarm.
That's still my biggest position. So I got a couple that are pretty close to it now, but Bitfarms at $3.35. There's no sense to that. Their market cap. Look at what their market cap is at this point.
I want to see this.
They're at $637 million market cap.
Still too much.
You know, if they have a good...
I mean, did you think they would... I bought them at $8 and I got rid of them at like 5 something.
Yeah,
so
these prices are nuts. And that's going to start to come through, and it may take now until the second quarter. But that is going to start to come through on the financial statements. See, like Bitfarms, nobody's covering them. So if I look at analysts, although I do think there's 1 or 2 analysts covering them, for whatever reason, Yahoo's not showing this. So, you know, they have nothing here. So that's not very comforting. But, you know, their revenue is going to be significant in 2022. So, you know,
where are they supposed to get up for exahash?
Their goal is to get to 8 exahash, but I don't think they've secured purchase orders for all 8 exahash of that yet. And they're probably going to have to dip into the dilution pool. Now, I believe it was Bitfarms, yes, that I think they borrowed $100 million against the Bitcoin that they have on their balance sheet. So that's going to be another way that some of these companies can stop. And somebody earlier had mentioned a bunch of the mature companies are going to be able to start borrowing money against their Bitcoin. And Hut actually borrowed $30 million against their equipment. And that was a game changer, because this has been an industry where that was just not done. There was no financial institution that was willing to do that. So for them to...
GE Capital?
I don't know who they did that with, but...
Probably GE Capital.
But they got, so it's specifically secured by the Bitcoin miners that they bought. So it's not even a blanket, we're going to take security on all your Bitcoin miners, or... So that was a great... It's only 30 million, which, is a lot of money, but it doesn't get you as many miners as it used to.
30. Been in cash. I'm here. Porter. Jeffrey's giving Marathon a 50. Didn't he do that before all this drop? He gave Marathon a $50 price target. I think he did. I think he did it before.
I know he's been covering them for a while. I'm not sure if he updated his price target or not.
Oh, and then listen to what Russia said too. That was interesting. The Central Bank of Russia comes out and says, we're not going to allow any cryptocurrency. And then Putin says, I love Bitcoin. I love to. Got into Bitcoin. It got in at Bitfarms at 80 cents. Wow.
Nice.
I hope you backed the bus up on that. Any will only be, Nate said, any will only be a beast if they merge goes through. Oh, they're merging again? Dude, I just don't trust these guys.
Well, any is still that same merger they've been waiting for all year.
And if they act upon the additional mining equipment that they have rights to buy through January of 2022. Yeah, I bet you they're not. Any poked everybody. Not financial advice, as the Belgium members of parliament becomes first European politician to take their salaries in Bitcoin. That's the news.
Nice. Some of that's gimmicky, but it's nice. It raises the profile of Bitcoin, and that's the thing. That's what keeps happening. Institutional acceptance and just general people knowing about Bitcoin and hearing about Bitcoin and even using Bitcoin.
Any is Banga if the merger goes through. Exahash market cap ratio in top 5 discounted among the miners. By the way, that's what he's saying about Any.
Well, yeah, because remember, Any's down. Where are they at now?
Did they finally get to the 2? Just so you know, Tom told me when it was at $9, it was going to $2.
And it's
I wish you would have done that video.
It's at $1.96.
Let's short it. Let's short it. Let's short it. Tom's like, I don't like to short things.
We somewhere in the archives we did say that on a live stream, but it's everything got taken out. But now it's there. It's at $1.96. So I think that's a good valuation for them. I was very worried at $8 or $9. I felt like people were going to get destroyed, but this is much better. But then again, almost every single miner right now, I feel, is underpriced. It just varies. The other one, the Core Scientific, I haven't gotten to the bottom of yet, and I have been researching that to no end.
What do you mean by that? What does that mean? I haven't gotten to the bottom of it. What does that mean?
So I'm hopefully you guys can see on my screen the Yahoo Finance Core Scientific. So see how it says market cap $2.468 billion, and I'll go to Google and see, because I think they have the same thing. Market cap 2.47 billion. So I've been doing the math. I read through every single document that they had, and none of that agrees with a 2.46 or $2.47 billion market cap. So, if you go in the detail, it says they have, I think, 317 million outstanding shares, but something else is going on. because the valuation on the conversion was $4.3 billion. So I don't know how we got from 4.3 to 2.46.
Oh, you think it's off $1 billion?
I don't know. And I know that in the first 30 days of a SPAC converting, you don't necessarily have all their information, and they don't even have all their information because they don't know how many people are going to exercise their warrants. They don't know how many preferred stock is going to turn into common stock. So, that number could change on us. But I guess my point would be, even if it went to 4 billion, I think they're undervalued at 4 billion. So I do think, regardless of what their market cap is, it does seem like they are undervalued. And yesterday they were down like 17 or 18% or something ridiculous. Now they rallied 8% today, but they're still way under where they were as a SPAC. They're not even at $8 right now. It looks like after hours they're at almost $8.
Who did you say that everybody just dumped, that their big money just dumped? The 3 companies, who was that in?
Oh, who?
Greenwich?
No.
And that was that's why the stock plummeted the other day. Who was? I can't remember who that was.
Yeah, a bunch of institutions just sold all their stuff.
We gotta remember. We talk about so much. I forgot who that was. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's important that everybody knows.
Right.
But somebody, it was billions and billions of dollars, and they just flooded the market.
Right, and the stock took a big hit that day, but it didn't cause any dilution. It just put a lot of shares on the market.
Right.
So it looks like we got 4 minutes left before we have our.
Let me hit all these real quick before we go.
Like and subscribe, please.
Who is that? Belgian politics. Putin loves Bitcoin. If they invade Ukraine, the U.S. will disavow any bank to do business in the U.S. dollar around the world. They'll need Bitcoin. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be an invasion. I just think that's another insurrection. But I will tell you there is 8,500 troops getting ready to go. AnySwap seems to be getting heavy use on NFT swaps. That's interesting. A few years ago, Any hasn't been voted on the merger yet. Crazy. I'm telling you, Any is a scary, scary thing. Did you see that?
I don't understand what they're waiting for. Everybody else has merged and gone public and listed onto the NASDAQ from the Canadian exchanges. Everybody's done with everything, and Any is still just sitting there. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Brussels Christopher, I can't speak it, will be the first politician to take his salary of 5,500 euros. That's like freaking almost like 100,000 a year. It's true. Core Scientific is in line to be the second largest miner behind Marathon, then Riot. Do they need to raise any money or no?
Core Scientific, well, and it depends what you mean by that, because right now Core Scientific is bigger than both of those guys put together. But
wow.
Marathon and Riot have significant purchase orders, more so than the purchase orders that Core Scientific has. So if we go fast forward a year and everybody executes their plan perfectly, I think that's exactly correct. But at the moment, Core Scientific is the 800-pound gorilla. I mean, they're just bigger than everybody by a lot. And not only do they have 2 or 3 times the exahash of everybody, but they have massive hosting revenue. So
we got one minute to go. We're gonna get cut off. Jeff says this about Bitfarms, new rigs, $200 million worth, half the cost of the new ones. We're gonna get shut off right at 5:30. Just so we say our goodbyes now. Tip ranks give cores a 1880. Thanks. Not financial advice. Press me with HUD borrowing $30 million against theirs. Yeah, that was 140% upside. Kathy Wood, 2030. What Ethereum will be? I don't think Ethereum will be that high. I think she's wrong on that.
She said that one time.
I don't know. I'm not a big Ethereum player. When you really go in and research and see what's going on with Ethereum, I think it's the dog.
I want to say thanks to everybody, because I don't know if we're going to get cut off. I don't really understand how this works, switching from the live stream to the premiere. So I'll say, well, we got 30 seconds left. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us on the live stream here. And thanks for all your comments that I get all week. I really appreciate it. And for the views. So everybody have a great weekend. And hopefully we'll